Isabelle Vance, the campus queen I had married, had never once called me her husband in 10 years. The day she was kidnapped, everyone she knew cut ties, refusing to be swapped for her. I was the only one who stepped forward, taking her place in that freezing, damp cell. But when she finally raised the ransom, she didn't think of me. She pointed instead to her high school sweetheart. I want to save him. I didn't cry. I didn't make a scene. I just asked her, if you hadn't married me, would you have been happier? Her eyelashes fluttered. She looked down and then, without a word, took her first love's hand and turned away. I'm sorry, I smiled. That word had haunted me for a decade, whispered a million times. I should have seen this coming. I got to my feet. The kidnapper was gone, and instinctively, I threw myself in front of her, shielding her. A faint smile played across my blood-stained lips. Congratulations. He and I are no longer a problem for you. When I opened my eyes again, I was back, on the day I had first confessed my feelings to her. This time, I turned and ran, blocking her number, deleting her from my contacts. But then her face appeared on the giant geometron in the city square. Tears streamed down her cheeks. Ethan Cole, I can't be happy without you. I can't. I flinched. When Izzy gets here, you'd better look sharp. Change out those sweatpants. My father's voice barked from the doorway. I pressed a hand instinctively to my chest, where a bullet had torn through me. There was no hole. I was reborn. This was the day Isabelle Vance was coming to the Cole family estate to choose her fiancé. My past self would have been scrambling to get dressed, trying to make the perfect impression. For 4 years of college, everyone knew I was in love with her. Everyone except her. So, in my last life, when she finally chose me from all the eligible men in the Cole family, I thought I was dreaming. Now, I just ran a hand through my messy hair and yawned. Yeah, got it, Dad. You can go ahead. All right, but clean yourself up. Izzy doesn't like sloppy men. I know. He left, satisfied. He thought I would do anything to present my best self for Isabelle. He was wrong. Our previous marriage had proved that some things just aren't meant to be. The merger of the Cole and Vance fortunes had brought both families immense wealth. But Isabelle had never once given me a genuine smile, not even in bed. She never called me her husband. I remembered the day she looked at me, eyes filled with tears, and asked, "Am I really going to be trapped with you for the rest of my life?" And I had asked her once, if I had been the one to meet you first, would you have loved me the way you love him? I never got an answer. But her constant apologies said it all. If happiness can't be forced, then it's better to let go. Besides, I knew of a huge business opportunity in San Francisco, a startup that would be worth a fortune in 10 years. Now was the perfect time to get in on the ground floor. I packed a bag and picked up my phone. The wallpaper, her smiling face, stung my eyes. Before she married me, her smile had been bright, full of life. Remembering the tear-filled eyes she always reserved for me, I opened my contacts and pulled up the chat with Leo Hayes. I typed, 3203 Riverview Drive. Go tell her how you feel. A moment later, a single question mark popped up from Leo. Are you insane? I wasn't kidding. I texted back. Today's the day she's at the Cole estate picking a fiancé. You know you're the only one she's ever wanted. The Hayes family was a minor branch of our own family tree, so a union with Leo would still technically count. But the Hayes Corporation was on the brink of bankruptcy. The marriage wouldn't benefit the Vance family, so my father and I had conspired to leave him off the guest list. I admitted I was selfish. I knew that if Leo showed up, I wouldn't stand a chance. But later, my wife would look at me with tears in her eyes and say, "I'm yours for the rest of my life." Are you happy now? I wasn't. This time, let's just let each other go. I dressed down to blend in and mingled with the guests, eyes fixed on Isabelle. She was just as I remembered, impeccably beautiful, cool, and detached, her gaze melting only for Leo. After rejecting the last of my cousins, she looked impatiently toward the grand entrance. "Mr. Cole, are you sure everyone is here?" My father smiled genuinely. "There is one more who couldn't make it." "Don't worry, Izzy." "I'm not worried." She sat poised, eyes drifting back to the doorway. In my last life, She had stared at that same door, waiting for the man she loved to walk through it. Only when it became clear he wasn't coming did she reluctantly point to me. "Fine. I'll take him," she had said, her voice ashen. That one careless sentence had bound me to a decade of thankless devotion. I sent a quick text to Leo. "You coming or not?" The next second, the door swung open. Isabelle and Leo's eyes met across the crowded room. It was as if they were seeing each other for the first time. A moment that should have happened exactly like this in our previous life. A faint smile touched my lips. I tugged the brim of my baseball cap lower and turned to leave. "Isabelle, without me in the way, you can finally be happy, right?" Silently, I wished her congratulations. "Thank you, but I have no intention of marrying you," Isabelle said. A stunned silence fell over the room. Everyone knew Leo Hayes was the one she'd always wanted. I was already gone, oblivious to the drama. Leo thought he'd misheard. "Izzy, you rejected everyone from the Cole family, besides me. Who else could you possibly choose?" Isabelle turned to my father. "Mr. Cole, isn't Ethan here?" My father was taken aback. Isabelle had always been cool toward me, always using my full name. This was the first time she had dropped my last name. That boy, he had to step out for a bit. Isabelle froze. What could possibly be more important than our engagement? My father wiped a bead of sweat from his brow. "It's fine, Mr. Cole," Isabelle said, sitting down again, posture perfect. "I'll wait for him." My father forced a laugh. "Izzy, there are so many fine young men in the Cole family. Why are you so set on him?" "He's the only one I want," she said, a small smile gracing her lips. "The moment he gets back, we'll get engaged." My father wiped his forehead again. "Izzy, perhaps you shouldn't wait." "Why not?" she asked, blinking. "Isn't he the one who's most in love with me?" Well, my father had thought so too, at least until I had walked into his study with a packed suitcase to say goodbye. He had been furious at my sudden departure. But ever since my mother passed, he had been indulgent with me. After listening to my business plan for San Francisco and my reasons for giving up on love, he finally nodded and let me go. He struggled for an answer. Leo, however, couldn't hold back. "Izzy, he doesn't love you. Don't let him fool you." He held out his phone, showing our text conversation. Seeing the messages, Isabelle shot to her feet and snatched the phone, voice trembling. "He told you to come here to confess to me?" Leo nodded. "He was never that into you. It was all an act. He left in a real hurry. He's probably already found someone else." "Impossible," Isabelle whispered. She turned back to my father. "Please stop the charade. If Ethan comes out right now, I'll go to City Hall with him this afternoon. I swear it, as the eldest daughter of the Vance family." "Izzy, it's not that I'm trying to keep you apart," he hesitated. "It's just—" She unlocked her phone, refusing to believe it. How could he not want to see me? "He loves me more than anything." The words died on her lips as the message she tried to send failed. A red notification popped up. She swayed, nearly losing her balance. "He blocked me. Did you hear? The Vance Aries is getting engaged to one of the Coles today. Not a Cole. Some guy named Leo. Remember? The other Cole, the one who was obsessed with her. If I were her, I would have been creeped out." I stood on the curb, suitcase in hand, waiting for my Uber. Hearing the passers-by, I let out a bitter laugh. Well, that obsessive Cole won't be bothering anyone anymore. This life was for me. I heard she booked the big screen in Times Square for the announcement. I looked up at the tallest building. They say that spot costs $100,000 for 10 seconds. I pinched the bridge of my nose, a headache starting. Even though I had let her go, seeing her in Leo's public declaration of love still stung. Just as I was about to turn away, tear-filled eyes appeared on the massive screen. "Ethan Cole, I can't be happy without you. I came here today for you. If you come back, I'll go to City Hall with you right now. I swear it." I thought I was losing my mind. Isabelle Vance, who had cried because she had to marry me, was now crying harder than I had ever seen her. It must be a side effect of being reborn. My senses were scrambled. "Ethan Cole, I know you can hear me. It's okay if you don't answer. I will find you. People around me started murmuring. Did I hear that right? Was she confessing her love? Honestly, they looked good together. But if she wasn't into him, his constant chasing had just been sad. Sometimes the nice guy finishes first. Looks like he finally won. The buzz of conversation forced me to accept it. This was real. I slapped my cheeks to clear my head, confirming one more time that the woman on the screen was Isabelle. But how was this possible? Could she actually be in love with me? The thought barely formed before I mentally slapped myself again. Get a grip. Hadn't you suffered enough in the last life? It seemed Isabelle was more pragmatic than I had thought. She had been willing to endure being with someone she didn't love, just to secure the most profitable merger for her family. That thought left a cold gnawed in my stomach. My Uber arrived. I pulled the door open and got in, leaving her and the chaos behind. The moment I stepped out at the airport, someone pointed at me. It's him. Get him. I froze as a dozen people started running toward me. Without a second thought, I grabbed my suitcase and bolted, ducking into a Hudson News. The cashier stared at me for a few seconds. Then his eyes widened. Ethan Cole? Oh my God, you walked right in. I fled again, heart pounding, hiding in a narrow service alley. Finally, I pulled out my phone to check the news. The top trending topic on Twitter hit me like a punch to the gut. Isabelle Vance was offering a $1 million reward for any information leading to my whereabouts. What had happened to her? The Isabelle I knew had regretted our marriage more than anything. Now that I had given her the freedom she always wanted, why was she chasing me? I pulled my collar up to hide my face, pushing my sunglasses firmly onto my nose, striding purposefully toward the terminal. Ethan. A familiar voice sent a chill down my spine. I knew it anywhere. It was the voice that had spoken my name with cold indifference 1,000 times in my past life. Ethan, how long are you going to run from me? The click-clack of high heels grew closer. Just as she was about to grab my arm, I flagged down a passing taxi and jumped inside. Drive as fast as you can, I ordered. The taxi shot forward. I glanced back. No one was following. Relief washed over me. Just as I exhaled, the driver slammed on the brakes. I lurched into the back of the front seat. Sir, someone's blocking the road. I looked up. A sleek supercar had executed a perfect drift, sliding to a halt directly in our path. That license plate, it was Isabelle's. Sir, you should probably just get out. I'm canceling this ride, the driver said, terrified of the custom plate on the multi-million-dollar car. I didn't argue. I jumped out and sprinted toward a dense residential neighborhood, the kind with narrow streets her car couldn't navigate. Ethan, stop. As expected, Isabelle got out and ran after me. She had taken the bait. I doubled back, yanked open her supercar's door, and slid into the driver's seat. Got to borrow this. I'll leave it at the airport for you. I yelled, stomping on the gas and peeling out. I thought I had finally escaped her, but then a deafening roar grew in my ears. I was shocked to see Isabelle on a motorcycle, keeping pace with me. Racing a supercar on a bike? Was she insane? She wore a helmet and gestured at me. Pull over. Not a chance. This life, I was determined to have nothing to do with her. To make her back off, I floored it, pushing the car to its limit and leaving her behind. For her to keep up at this speed would be suicide. But then, a black blur shot past me on the side. I gasped. The motorcycle overtook me, then swerved into a sharp turn, stopping directly in my path. I was about to slam into her. I stomped on the brakes. My head slammed into the airbag as it deployed. The driver's side door was pulled open. She slid into the seat, replacing me. I knew you couldn't bring yourself to hit me. I leaned back against the passenger seat, completely drained. What the hell do you want? She turned to look at me, a playful smirk on her lips. You're avoiding me. Could it be that you're afraid if you see me again, you'll fall for me all over again? Her words made my entire body go rigid. Could it be that she was reborn too? Is this game of yours getting old yet? I asked, my voice laced with impatience. I was throwing her own words back at her, the ones she'd said to me 1,000 times. A flash of sorrow crossed her eyes, but it was gone in an instant. Admit it, Ethan. You're just scared you'll fall for me again. Scared I'll have you wrapped around my finger. That's ridiculous. Then you won't mind if I come with you to San Francisco, will you? I stared at her. She smiled, a genuine smile that made me feel a flicker of something I hadn't felt in years. Was she even capable of smiling at me like that? You're going there for that investment anyway, she continued, pressing her advantage. What's the matter? Scared you won't be able to control yourself if I'm around. Her goading always worked on me. Irritably, I grabbed the car's lighter, popped it out, and lit a cigarette right in front of her. She froze, but didn't show the disgust she always had in our past life. I took a long drag, smoke I had quit for 10 years filling my lungs. I blew a smoke ring. Fine. Come along. Just don't slow me down. She didn't seem to mind the smoke swirling around us. Instead, she leaned closer. You're the one who's going to be holding us back, huh? Isabelle knew San Francisco better than I did. In our past life, Leo had worked here. I had once proposed a trip, even created a meticulously planned 50-page itinerary for her. Her only response had been cold. Does that sound fun? I don't have time to play games with you. This time, arriving in the city, she was full of enthusiasm. That night, she pulled me to the floor-to-ceiling window of the hotel suite she'd booked. The lights on the bridge are best at this time of night, she said, pointing at the Golden Gate. Look, it's all right, I said, my mind elsewhere. The next day, she dragged me to Disneyland. We went on every ride from one end of the park to the other. Holding a cone of cotton candy, she scrolled through the photos on her phone. Why aren't you smiling in any of these? They don't look good. I yawned. You're the one who forced me to come. I'm not exactly thrilled. She paused, then managed a smile. The day after, she took me to the top of Twin Peaks, where we could see the entire city spread out below us. You told me you always love hiking. It's okay, I guess, she said, a flicker of confusion in her eyes. I remember you saying you wanted to come here, didn't I? I ruffled my wind-blown hair, not caring about my appearance in front of her. Don't remember. It wasn't until we stood before the altar at Grace Cathedral that it finally clicked. The route she had taken me on, the places we'd visited. They were identical to the itinerary I had made for her all those years ago. But a journey is only as good as the company you keep. The scenery was never what I cared about. Now that I had let her go, the places I once yearned to see were just smoke and mirrors. After she lit a candle and said a quiet prayer, she looked at the stained glass and asked me, Ethan, are you happy being with me? No, I said. You can't lie in a church. She turned to look at me. What about just this trip, these past few days? Not happy. Her lips thinned, her smile forced. You used to want me to come with you. Yeah, I said as the scent of incense drifted by, but it's too late for all that. Her voice softened. Okay, I get it. She paused, then added, but I'm not giving up. She looked me straight in the eye. In a place like this, I couldn't lie. I looked down. Her clear, bright eyes met mine. For a moment, I was thrown back to the day I first saw her. The day that gaze captured my heart and set the course for my entire life. But that was all in the past. Do what you want. I'm not getting back together with you. When you're ready to give up, you know where the door is. I turned and walked away. Isabelle left sooner than I expected. When I woke up the next morning, she was gone. My calls went straight to voicemail. Even though I was done with her, basic decency made me reach out to my contacts to see if anyone had seen her. Staring at the unanswered messages, a faint worry began to creep in. A few days later, my business in San Francisco was concluded, and there was still no word from her. Had something happened? I couldn't help but frown. It was only when I got a call from my father back in New York that I found out she had already returned. I finally felt a sliver of relief. At least she was safe. But when my flight landed and my car passed by Central Park, two familiar figures made me stop in my tracks. I would recognize Isabelle and Leo's silhouettes anywhere. A gentle breeze lifted a strand of Isabelle's hair. It brushed against Leo's fingers. I heard his gentle voice drift over. He doesn't want you. I do. A sharp, needle-like pain pricked my heart. Though I was determined to cut all ties with her, I never saw her as an enemy. In fact, When she disappeared without a word, I was genuinely worried. If she had simply given up and we had gone our separate ways, I would have been fine. But for her to run back to Leo without so much as goodbye, all while acting so deeply in love with me, it was something I couldn't accept. It brought back all the failures of my last life. That's it. No more contact. She was a curse. I went home, blocked her on everything, and erased every trace of her from my life. With the San Francisco deal secured, my future was set. I was finally free of the past. I started planning a trip for myself. My desire to go to San Francisco had always been about her. The places I wanted to see were somewhere else entirely. Now traveling alone, I could finally go see them. But on the day I was set to leave, Isabelle knocked on my door again. "Are you ever going to stop?" I asked. "My patience is gone." Isabelle just smiled, hands clasped behind her back as she leaned toward me. "Did you forget? It's my birthday today." I pinched the bridge of my nose. "Go celebrate with Leo." "What are you doing here?" "But you're my husband." Goosebumps erupted on my skin. "I am not." I grabbed my suitcase. "We are done. Stop harassing me." I started to walk away, but she grabbed my arm. "Ethan, have you not had enough?" I spun around, shaking her hand off. "How many times do I have to say it? There's nothing between us." "Nothing. You wanted your freedom, and I gave it to you. So why are you clinging to me now? Isn't Leo giving you what you want?" My raised voice carried through the house, drawing my father out of his study. Seeing Isabelle's eyes welling up, he rushed over and threw a punch at my shoulder. "You brat. How dare you talk to Izzy like that?" The Coles and the Vance family had been close friends for generations. My father saw Isabelle as a daughter. I dodged his swings, trying to explain. "I'm not doing anything to her. She's the one who won't let me leave." "Ow. Mr. Cole, please stop." Isabelle stepped between us, blocking his next swing. She turned to me, her voice quiet. "Ethan, this is the last time I'll bother you. Just let me come with you. Let me celebrate one last birthday with you. After midnight, I promise I will never bother you again." I rubbed my forehead. "Seriously?" "Yes." She held up her right hand. "I swear on a Vance family name." I thought for a moment. "Fine. But you keep your word. After today, you leave me alone." "I will." Her eyes lit up, and she threw her arms around mine. "Let's go then." My whole body tensed. It had been a long, long time since a girl had held my arms so intimately. Especially this girl. Despite my irritation, this was supposed to be our last time together. And it was her birthday, so I tried not to be a complete jerk. As we passed a street vendor stall, I pointed at a hand-woven red cord bracelet. "You like that? I'll buy it for you." I didn't expect her to say yes. A cheap $5 trinket like that was beneath her. I was just making conversation. "Okay," she said, smiling. I thought I'd misheard. You'd actually like something like this?" "I like anything you give me." For a second, I thought the bright-eyed girl in front of me had been replaced by an imposter. I bought the bracelet and tied it around her wrist. She held up her hand for me to see, showing off the small, polished red bead woven into the cord. "Do you know what this means?" she asked. "No clue," I said dismissively. "Silly." She tapped my forehead with her finger. "You know what they say about a compass? No matter how you spin it, the needle always finds its way north. You're my north." I flinched. I couldn't stand her cloying sentimentality. Save the poetry for Leo. I couldn't stomach sharing a line of love with another man. She just smiled unbothered, watching as she cherished a $5 bracelet. I felt a pang of guilt. "Let's go shopping. My treat. Anything you want." "Is this my birthday present from you?" she asked, blinking. "I guess." I hadn't eaten dinner yet. A soft laugh escaped her lips as she linked her arm through mine again. "You don't have to treat me. I've already taken care of everything." When she opened the door to her hotel suite, I froze. A massive birthday cake sat on a table, and the entire room was filled with mountains of wrapped gifts. "What are these presents?" "From other people." "No, they're all for you." She pointed at me. "Me? What's your birthday?" Her eyes curved into crescents as she smiled. "I know. This is me making up for lost time. Go on, open them." The gifts were arranged in neat piles. Each pile had a small card marking an age, birth, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, all the way to 32. In our last life, Isabelle and I married when we were 22. 10 years later, at 32, I died for her. I had celebrated more than a dozen of her birthdays. She had never once remembered mine. Was she making up for all the birthdays she missed in my past life? It's your birthday. Why are you the one giving gifts? I asked, watching her face. Are you moved? She asked, tilting her head. I am, I said, my voice flat. Anyone would be moved by a gesture like this. It wouldn't have to be you. The subtext was clear. This wasn't going to change my mind. I know, she looked down. I wasn't expecting it to. Hearing the sadness in her voice, I couldn't bring myself to ruin her birthday completely. So, what do you want in return? Well, it was as if she had been waiting for me to ask. Could you come with me to the cathedral one more time? After we lit a candle at the cathedral, she pulled out a ring. The design was almost identical to our wedding ring from our past life. Ethan, I have one more wish, her voice a whisper. Will you put this on for me? I frowned. Are you asking me to propose to you? Ha ha, she laughed. Would you be willing? You can't lie in a church, I said, shaking my head. No. She was still smiling, but let out a soft sigh. I knew you'd say that. She held the ring out. Don't worry. It doesn't have any special meaning. I just want you to put a ring on my finger. That's all. I swear to God. After midnight, I promise I'll never bother you again. Sighing, I took the ring and slid it on her finger. She admired it for a moment, then gently leaned her head against my shoulder. My body went stiff, but seeing as this was our final moment, I didn't pull away. Ethan, I love you. You're not supposed to lie in a church, I said softly. That's why I brought you here to tell you. She's really lost her mind, I thought, frowning. At first, I really didn't like you, she continued. But after 10 years, even a stone would have been warmed by your love. Don't. Remembering everything from her past life, I didn't want to hear anymore. She could play with people's emotions so effortlessly. I'm not lying to you, Ethan. She rested her head on my shoulder, looking out at the city lights below. I know you hate me, and I'm not asking for your forgiveness. My biggest birthday wish is for you to be happy for the rest of your life. You're acting strange today, I murmured. I glanced down and saw a few drops of blood fall onto the back of my hand. Isabelle, I pulled back to see a trickle of blood at the corner of her mouth. I gathered her into my arms. I'm taking you to a hospital. Just as I was about to lift her, she raised a hand and pressed it against my chest. Don't. There's no time. It's midnight. The cathedral bells began to toll. My breath caught in my throat. Midnight? What about midnight? My time is up. In our last life, I was supposed to die. This life with you, I beg for it. What are you talking about, Ethan? A faint smile touched her blood-stained lips as she held up the hand with the ring. Thank you for putting this ring on my finger. I really do love you. Her hand fell limp, landing in mine. The sticky warmth of her blood between our palms. Her eyes, reflecting the 1,000 lights of the city, went dim. I wish time could stop right at this moment. The woman in my arms went still. My hand froze, and I felt something inside me break. Isabelle's perspective. I knew from a very early point that I was just a character in a story. By some twist of fate, I learned how my story was supposed to end, with a bullet through the heart from a kidnapper's gun. The tragedy was inevitable. By the time I realized it, I had already fallen in love with Ethan Cole. I was finally ready to accept the love he had offered me for so long, to have his children, to grow old with him. But fate had a cruel sense of humor. Knowing I only had a few years left, I would look at the man sleeping beside me, my fingers gently tracing the sharp lines of his jaw, and I would cry. By my calculations, when I died, he would only be 32. His life was still so long. So, I decided to make him hate me. I would become the cruel, heartless woman who only ever cared about her first love. That way, when I was gone, he could move on quickly. I threw all the birthday presents I had bought for him into the fireplace, along with the roses he brought me. When he came home and saw the ashes, I sneered. No amount of roses can create love. Don't waste your energy. The day I was kidnapped, I never imagined he would be willing to die for me. So when it came time to choose who to save, I chose Leo without hesitation. I knew the script. The kidnapper's real target was me. The ransom was just a way to get my assets before they killed me. That bullet was meant to pierce my chest as I walked away with Leo. I didn't regret it. Seeing me choose another man, he would surely let me go. But I never expected he would break free from a story and take that bullet for me. So I made a pact with fate. I would give back the long life his sacrifice had bought me. I didn't want it. I wanted to save him, even if it meant I would only live until my next birthday. I never expected that he would be reborn too. In a way, it was for the best. It meant we had a few more months together. In our last life, he chased me for so long. What was wrong with me chasing him in this one? Even if I failed, it didn't matter. I was a dying woman anyway. All I wanted was to experience that warmth with him one more time, even for a moment. And most importantly, I wanted to say the words I never got to say in our last life. You can't lie in a church. Husband, I love you. This time, you have to live a long, full, and happy life.